Motorsport Report, you are live.
Hey, what's up, Chase?
It's David Land. Guys, so everybody that's watching that knows Ryan Priest today, they're getting ready to welcome their second child into the world today. We were going to have Ryan on at 1. So surprise to everybody. David Land from YouTube here. If you're an IndyCar fan, you know David well. David's a good buddy of mine. We were just talking about the F1 shit, man. We were talking about some F1 drama, about how all the fans are pissed off right now because all the camera guys want to do is show the girlfriends in the paddock and not the actual racing product that's going on.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, so what's interesting about that is it's not a new phenomenon. In fact, if you go back and watch some old Indy 500s, you'll notice kind of the same thing. We used to call it wife cam. Like ABC Sports was a real big fan of wife cam. But, yeah, it's interesting that it's kind of found it. And it's not a new thing in Formula One either. But it is interesting it's becoming a controversy again, that you see complaints about. And I understand, like, showing anybody off screen. I don't care if it's a wife, girlfriend, celebrity. If I'm tuning into a motor race, I want to watch a motor race. But I think there's a thought process from the TV director's standpoint that, well, the casual fans, they're not going to care about just the race cars on track. We've got to show the human interest side of it. And so naturally they choose the wives and girlfriends. And as you know, Chase, Formula One's a big soap opera. Yeah. So they love showing the significant others, and that's part of the soap opera drama.
Well, you heard it here first. Like, I'm not the only one that's saying it's the soap opera, so that's great to hear, especially from a guy like you. We've I think the big thing is, like, it's funny to see how a lot of the F1 hype. We had Super NASCAR fan Andrew called in, and he was talking about how he would see multiple people at these concerts that have F1 shirts on, and he would be like, "Who's your favorite driver?" And they have no clue. It's the hype element. It's the hype element. We've talked about it. This is this new thing in culture now. But when you've got actual F1 race fans, which they actually exist, we were watching a clip, and they were mad because they wanted to see, I think it was Fernando's brakes had went out, and they were having a battle, and they obviously get excited over hearing drivers say the word fuck. A lot. So that's what's exciting in the world of F1 is brakes going out, not wanting to watch girlfriends when brakes go out. You want to kind of be plugged in on those moments. So I get that part, but also I thought it was funny that they just like to hear drivers say fuck.
But it's amazing how trendy Formula One is. You mentioned it. I mean, it's in a lot of ways it's like a fashion choice now. You know, you see people in McLaren shirts and Red Bull shirts and Ferrari. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're into Formula One, but ultimately the money spends the same, right? And Formula One still made the money off of the T-shirt sales, but exactly. it is very interesting kind of to see that trend.
Well, dude, I'm glad that you did get to call in, and you're headed to Atlanta right now, correct? What are you going down there to do?
Yeah, so we're driving down to Petit Le Mans, the season finale for IMSA and the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. One of my favorite races of the year. It's a 10-hour endurance race at the Road Atlanta circuit, which is just to me it's the best road course in the world. I think it's the perfect balance of elevation change, high-speed corners, low-speed corners, passing zones, straights, and it really doesn't get much better than being in Georgia in the early fall. So it's a really, really fun race. A lot of I think over 50 cars on the entry list for Petit Le Mans. So. A lot of fun, a lot of drivers that we know as well. Certainly in this show, you think about Kyle Kirkwood driving for Lexus, Scott Dixon's driving one of the Acuras. So a lot of fun drivers, a lot of fun times and exciting stuff down in Atlanta. So we're heading down there to cover that race, and we love IMSA. It's a lot of fun to cover that series.
Hell yeah. Another racing series too, before I'm obviously I want to talk to you about some IndyCar, but another racing series, I had some notes down here, and I feel like you can explain this a little bit better for me and for all of the viewers right now. Porsche backs out of the WEC hypercar class. How big of a deal is that? Because it seems like it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, that's extremely significant, Chase. You look at the global sports car landscape right now, and it's actually as good as it's ever been in a lot of ways. I mean, we constantly say it, we harp on it, that this is a golden era in sports car racing, because it really is. you've got so many manufacturers, so many OEMs involved both here in the United States and globally in the World Endurance Championship, that anytime you have a major pullout, and this really is, I mean, you've had a couple of different manufacturers pull out. A lot of those have not been as serious or as well-funded of programs as Porsche is. So Porsche pulling out of the World Endurance Championship is pretty significant just from a, hey, where is the industry headed standpoint, right? Porsche sells a significant amount of the merch. They are extremely strongly supported. Anytime they are a part of a top class on the global stage, that's important. The interesting part about all of this is that it's just the factory involvement in the World Endurance Championship. There is still a chance that there will be Porsche prototypes racing in the World Endurance Championship next year. There is currently a privateer team called Proton that runs one car. Now, based on the regulations for the World Championship, they need to run two cars to be considered an official manufacturer of the series. And why that's important is Penske is continuing with Porsche's factory support in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship.
Yeah.
And they're about to win the championship. And when you win the championship in IMSA, you get an invite to the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But you can only race at the 24 Hours of Le Mans if your manufacturer participates in the World Endurance Championship. And as of right now, Porsche isn't officially confirmed in the World Endurance Championship. So there's a lot of factors here at play. But I guess the important thing, Chase, for those of us here in the United States, is that we're still going to get Penske and Porsche at a factory level racing here in IMSA next year.
Okay, well at least there's that. But yeah, on the world stage, that's pretty tough. I know I've been paying attention to the whole hypercar thing for a while now. Like Singer is one of the manufacturers that I've really been watching. They're using a lot of AI to make this car, and it's been breaking a ton of records, which has been really cool to see. So I know that they're one of the only pieces really that I've been focusing. But we're learning a little bit more, and we're getting there. Malukas got into the 12 this week at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We haven't got to talk with him since the move, but where do you see the IndyCar landscape sitting as it stands right now in October? We've got a few seats left open, I believe, and that haven't been sealed down. But this Malukas move, I've made some comments about what I think is going to happen for Penske going into 2026. How are you feeling about it? What are you hearing? What are you seeing?
Yeah, apparently the test went well at Gateway. I mean, as you kind of expect. I mean, that's David Malukas' best track. It's a track that Penske's been very strong at in the past, right?
Yeah.
I think generally speaking, we're expecting David Malukas is going to be there or thereabouts, right? I mean, I think there was a couple of times this year where he probably should have had a win and didn't with AJ Foyt racing. So he's got the pace. I think the expectation next year, should be, I don't know if it actually is going to be, but the expectation should be that he is going to have a learning year at Team Penske. I think he's going to show flashes of brilliance. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the pole position multiple times next year. But really what I want to see from David Malukas isn't necessarily a win, but what I want to see is consistency. I want to see him consistently at the front. I want to see him fighting for wins. And I think if he does that, he's going to be just fine at Team Penske. And one of the things that we've kind of all talked about in this industry about Team Penske, especially in the recent past, which really for Team Penske, or a team that's been around since the 60s, we're talking like the last 20 years, Team Penske doesn't commit to teams or to drivers short term. They just don't do it.
Right.
So to see David Malukas, you have to look at this as a long-term project. And so I think that you're going to give him a lot of time to figure it out. And I think you also have to kind of look at some of his contemporaries. There's a lot of drivers right now at big teams that need to prove themselves. I think Nolan Siegel is the best example of that, right? And Aaron McLaren, he's got a great seat, but he hasn't really shown the results. So I think if David Malukas can just show those results early on, even if they're not race wins, even if it's just podiums or pole positions, just improve on what you did at Foyt, I think he's going to be in good shape.
Beautiful. Yeah, I know. And you want to see him do well. I had my comments on it, like when I heard that Renus was leaving Dale Coyne, I immediately was like, man, he would be solid in that 12. But I feel like we all knew there was this ghost commitment that Malukas was always going to go to that 12 car. They stripped it down to now only I think it's just a Team Penske sponsored car. There's no Verizon on that anymore. We got any update on who's going to be whipping the Verizon car around for Penske now?
No, it's still Verizon. Verizon's still the primary. A lot of times Team Penske, when they test, and I don't know exactly why they do this. It is kind of funny. I think it's just mainly Roger's not giving any free lunches to anybody.
Yeah.
But that car will remain the Verizon car. Just sometimes when they test, they just they take all the logos off it for some reason.
Well, that's good for
Verizon.
That's good for Verizon because now David Malukas can be the can you hear me now guy sitting in a tree. I think that
was David Malukas even born when that commercial was airing?
No, but he's definitely watched it on YouTube probably when he was like 6 at a dinner table somewhere on his iPad. You know, that definitely happened. I'm excited though. They got a young, exciting team now, man, at Penske. So I'm ready to see what goes down with some of these other seats that are open though. Like I think the big one is like we want to know where VeeKay's headed, man. Like, are you here? Have you heard anything about VeeKay? Like, are any rumblings going on right now?
Man, the rumbling is he's going to Juncos Hollinger Racing, which of course then opens up the question. And I know this is a tough one for this audience, but I mean, what's going to happen with Conor Daly, right?
Yeah.
Because as far as I am aware, and they've told me straight up that Stingray Rob has a contract for next year.
Right.
He's solidly in that car. So if the pairing is Renus and Stingray, then we're going, okay, well, what's happening with Conor Daly? Where is he going? What's he doing? And how does that all work? Because I think Conor had a pretty solid year at Juncos, especially towards the end of the year and especially on the ovals. And of course you mentioned Renus. I mean, it's kind of shocking actually that Renus has not ended up at a top tier team. You think about the best team that he's been with was the team that he started in IndyCar with at Carpenter Racing.
Right.
And even at Carpenter Racing has kind of stepped up since Renus left. So it's kind of surprising to me that
he's a lot of rebound.
Yeah, for sure. It can kind of. I think the discussion right now is if it's true that he's going to Juncos, it almost kind of seems to me, Chase, like it's a sidestep from Dale Coyne Racing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I from what I've heard from this partnership with Andretti, I mean, obviously I know that, you know, they got Dennis in the car now. The whole Grosjean rumor, I don't think that's all yet, but to be announced. And then, so, I mean, the Foyt seat has, correct me if I'm wrong, has the Foyt seat been announced?
It is not. So right now, the front runner for that seat seems to be Collet.
Yeah.
The Brazilian driver who I think finished runner-up in the Indy Next Championship this year. He had a great test at Mid-Ohio. He'll be testing on Monday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Foyt. The impression that I get is that he's the front runner for that seat. Some other names that have been mentioned are like Jacob Abel for that. But again, you know, if Jacob hasn't been in the car yet and Kaio's gotten 2 tests and they're going well, you kind of think that that's where that's going to head. But you know, Chase, honestly, one of the things that I'm beginning to think about with this whole off season, the silly season, is that at some point we're going to get to the point where there's only one seat left. You know, there's going to be more. There's going to be more drivers than seats, right? And so if you're the last team to kind of have a seat open, you honestly kind of put yourself in a really good position from a funding perspective, because if everybody's bidding for that last seat, you know, you can get the maximum amount of money for that seat. So it's kind of interesting to see the jockeying towards the end of this. I guess it's almost the end of the silly season, right? We've only got a couple of seats left to announce. I mean, you mentioned Romain Grosjean, who we fully expect will be announced very soon at Dale Coyne Racing. Actually, I think part of what we're waiting on with Romain is that his last race with the Lamborghini team is this weekend at Petit Le Mans. I would not be surprised if once he's done with that particular obligation, he will be a free agent to be able to officially announce signing at Dale Coyne Racing. So, it's very interesting to see how quickly all these seats have kind of filled up. And then we're going to be talking about who's in the Indy 500, right?
Yeah.
And those will be the last seats open.
Who we got? McLaren have already teased like that they've got somebody big. I think we talked a little bit about that on Speed Street about a month or so ago. So
it's weird, isn't it? Like they haven't been pretty quiet on that. I've meant to follow up with them about that and be like, hey, what's going on there, sport? What's going on?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the whole problem that I feel like with IndyCar. Like right now with NASCAR, you've got so many storylines, dude. And I mean, I know the racing's still going on, but like off the track storylines that are happening. It's like IndyCar is doing, they're doing the best job that they can, but I feel like that right there is a big story that should still be tapped into. Like people should be trying to figure out who's going to be in the seat for them because I don't think Kyle Larson's going to be coming back. And then the other part of it too is like the speculation, right? I mean, we talked about Renus. I'd love to see Renus in the 4. I think that would be sick. But I think that that like you said, we kind of already know where that's potentially heading. And so yeah, it just leaves that one seat open at Juncos, and it's another year where having a lot of money wins over talent sometimes, and that's kind of a tough situation to be in. That's what I'm hoping to see change over the next few years. I feel like talent should always be talent. Drivers that can get you the win should always come ahead, but we got to get more money. We got to get more money in this series and for these teams, man. So I don't know. It's
getting a lot better, Chase. To be honest with you, like if you think about like this year versus a lot of years in the past, we're only talking about like 3 or 4 seats that are demanding of money, right? And they're the last seats that are left available. I think one of the reasons that we saw these seats go so quickly is that they are like you can't. The funding is there to go out and get the driver that you want, which is good for the sport. It's not so good for people who yak about the sport for a living because then we don't have anything to talk about in December. But it's definitely good to see. It is changing. You're right, Chase. But definitely, 3, 4, 5 seats. Yeah, they're still paid, asking for paid drivers for sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll see it. I think this Fox deal is going to do a lot, and with everything happening with this NASCAR lawsuit right now, I have a pretty strong feeling it's going to end in settlement and everything's going to be fine. But it's getting really close to that. It's feeling like a split, dude. It's getting close, and I had this mindset about it where I'm like, man, if that happens in NASCAR right now, what would the ultimate history repeat itself as Fox buys into IndyCar, and then IndyCar gets ready to set their stage. And that's kind of been the way.
Well, that I mean, you're probably more connected to the NASCAR world than I am, and I mean, certainly, we've all been paying attention, right, to that lawsuit. Do you really think that a settlement's going to come? I know that teams want to push 2311 in front row to do that. I know NASCAR has offered that. I get the sense that 2311 is willing to burn the house down on this. I mean, what's kind of your feeling on the whole lawsuit? I mean, you said you think they're going to settle. I mean, do we really think that MJ is going to take it this far and not try to dunk on him right at the end?
I think that realistically, as long as Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin get what they want, that they're happy. And I think that that's going to be good for all the teams as well. So, I mean, this whole thing started over, wanting to have more of the TV money go to the teams to help them, so that they can try to profit more and they can grow a little bit more and have money to do things that they haven't been able to really do, I guess. So if NASCAR is willing to say, like, look, hey, we're going to hear you out and we'll get very close to what you want, I also feel like that's the only way it plays out, because if they can't get close to what Denny and Michael are asking for, I think that's when, you're going to have it all come out on December the 1st in Discovery, and that's when the house could get burned down. But even the court, I think Bob Pockrass reported on it, or somebody had said that I had never seen a group of people that wanted to watch their own house burn down as badly as this one. So that's some strong words coming from a judge, dude.
100. I mean, you mentioned that. The Discovery part of this is, I mean, if it does end up in court and it ends up in Discovery, I mean, it's going to have the ripple effect on the industry is going to be so widespread. I mean, Chase, you talked about the split. I mean, it's almost worse than the split because at least in the split, everybody's books didn't get thrown out for the public consumption. I mean, that's what we're talking about if this goes to court. I mean, this could really be something crazy.
I think it's bigger than fans can imagine. It's just bigger than, like, there's a lot of fans who are like, yeah, let it go all the way. It's like, I don't know if you really realize that will probably be the end of NASCAR as we know it. And that is what and then fans will probably be pissed off about that, even though they wanted it. So my hope is that NASCAR, the France family, they understand, like, let's take some losses here. Let's give the teams more, and then let all that pour back into a great funnel for everyone. Because if you give up a little bit from your personal, you can get a lot of sacrifice for the team. Take one for the team, if you will. But, yeah, I do feel like where MJ and Denny are sitting right now, I mean, Denny tweeted out, LOL, hold my beer, whenever he saw the Adam Stern news drop. So that's they know the ball is in their court, and they're sitting right now in the fourth quarter, dude, and it's they've got a comfortable little lead. So I'm very interested. I just know that with Michael Jordan being involved, more than likely, if they don't get near close to what they want, they're gonna let it just ride. And that's when we're going to see some crazy shit happen. But on the IndyCar side, there's not much of that going on over on the IndyCar side. And I mean, we had
as long as your name's not Alex Palou or Zach Brown.
yeah, right. That's another court case that I don't even know where to begin really with that one. I've read a little bit about it. I know that it has to do with him going to McLaren and F1 and all, but I like Alex Palou right where he is. Some of the other drivers might not, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the domination station that is Alex Palou from this past year, and ready to see what he can cook up next year. Because that once a driver is able to do something like that in a season, other people are going to pick up. They're going to figure it out. And I don't know. It's very hard to replicate that. So 2026 should be fun. But I'm excited, man. Like, no matter what happens with the NASCAR side of things in this off season, I can confidently say that there are more and more NASCAR fans that are growing excited about IndyCar. Like, we had Moonhead on last week. He was talking about how he was watching Nashville and he wasn't thinking about points or anything like that. He was just enjoying the racing. And I think that speaks to volumes for what I've heard from a lot of my friends in the NASCAR world, especially when applied to IndyCar. So when I say IndyCar is going to the moon, dude, I've been saying it for, 2-3 years now. It takes a while to get there, apparently. So, but I think it's headed that way.
That was such an awesome clip. I definitely am a big Moonhead guy. I mean, I love the shit stirrers for sure, and he's definitely one of them. Yeah. But I love that clip that I saw on Instagram. I hit the retweet button on that. I mean, that's a hell of a new feature on Instagram. Very interesting. But no, I mean, like, to hear that from Travis, it's very interesting because, and it's the other part of my frustration with the fact that Nashville's no longer season.
I think we're losing David. I think we're losing him. David, I think we lost.
NASCAR, right?
Yeah, we lost you a little bit there. You had a little call drop there.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm driving past the Louisville airport.
Oh, I know. We've had you on for more than 20 minutes now, so I want to let you get back to your drive, but it's I know so you were just saying basically like it was cool, and I appreciate you reposting that video as well, because I want all these IndyCar fans to know, like, hey, there are outside fans from IndyCar that are peeking in, and they're starting to enjoy it. So I think some of the work that we're doing is paying off.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I just wish Nashville was the season finale. That's it.
Yeah, I know, bro. We'll get back there one of these days. But David, we'll let you get back to rolling. Thanks so much for calling in, bro, and we'll be talking again very soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, Chase.
Later.